Hello, welcome everybody. Uh, Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to learn a little bit about the residential college program. Um, our main objective here is to answer any questions that you might have. I also do have some slides to do a bit of an overview if that would be helpful too. But before we get into all that, I'll introduce myself. My name's Kelly Finley. I'm the program director for the Residential Colleges program. I've been in this role for some time now. My son um, graduated from Bucknell in 2019, geology. So a big believer in the institution and the program. And I'm going to hand it off to our two student mentors who are with us to share a student point of view. And we'll start with Angelica, if you would mind introducing yourself, major, hometown, um, other interesting facts you'd like to share.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Angelica Nowak. I'm a rising senior from Mayfield, Pennsylvania, which is up near Scranton. I'm a mechanical engineering major. I don't know, a fun fact is I'm doing an internship this summer and I've been driving around some construction equipment, which is kind of silly and fun. And then I went to Canada over the weekend on a fun little side quest.
Thank you. And Bella?
Yes, so I'm Bella. I'm also a rising senior. I'm majoring in chemistry and political science. I'm also doing an internship with a chemical company, super fun stuff. I was just abroad in Sweden last semester, and so that was super fun, but I'm back and ready for some Res College action. I was in Discovery my first year. Angelica, you should probably tell them where you were. But I had tons of fun in Discovery, and then I worked with Discovery as a JF.
I was in languages and cultures, but I also did some stuff like with the dinner seminars like the humanities colleges. Kelly, you're
Kelly, you're
on mute.
muted.
Thank you too. And so both of Angelica and Bella will help kind of monitor the chat if you want to reach out to either one of them directly. And does anybody have any kind of question right off the bat that you would like us to address first, or I can kind of pull up these slides and give the brief overview. Okay, cool. Here we go. So residential colleges, we are Bucknell's Living Learning Program for first year students. We do have a living learning, we do have an option after first year that you can sign up for. Everything is opt-in, just like the first year program. The way you opted into this program is through the course registration process. There's the two questions. Would you like to join a Res College? And then you rank your your top three choices. And then if you say, show me all my options, if any of those the other founded themes were associated with a Res College, it asked you a second question, like, are you open to it? And if you said yes, then there's a chance that maybe you were pulled into a Res College foundation seminar that way. But we are Bucknell's Living Learning Program. And what does that mean? Uh, what we do is we explore the different themes. We offer 8 different themes, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So we offer trips to New York, DC, Philadelphia, where we find ways to connect what kind of themes are being covered in the Res College classes with kind of real world activities. And I guess well, I don't know, Bella, Angelica, do you have an example of a way the trip helped connect what you were doing in class or in the common hour?
I can start. So for Discovery, and if you're going to be in Discovery in the fall, you'll probably do this. But our fall trip, when I was in Discovery and when I was a JF for Discovery, we went to Washington D.C. and we gave all the students a little it was a slip of paper and it said In this piece of paper, you need to go find 3 museums, 3 things that you found were related to discovery. And so then students came back from that and they had crazy pictures of things, and we sent them on like these goose chases to go find things. We went to New York City in the spring of my sophomore year with them, and we had them go find like Washington or George Washington's teeth or something like that in like southern Manhattan. So super fun stuff like that, just to go get them discovering things. But then, there is an academic portion to that, but it's really not that super serious.
My trips were a little bit different. Most of my first year, my class was on movies and like how they represent cities. So when we went to New York, it was kind of cool to see like what was in the movie actually was in real life, and like seeing that was cool. We were taking pictures and stuff like that was our assignment. And then when I was planning the trip for it, the following year we ended up at Ellis Island and just exploring the culture and the history that took place there, which was really cool.
Great, thank you. So that's kind of like the outside of class experience. In addition to those kind of, and sometimes I get this question, like, is there an added expense? And those different experiences outside the classroom are covered as part of the Bucknell tuition, so there's no additional expenses. But in addition to that, we do house students who are in those themes together in the same area of our residence hall. So they may not be in the same foundation seminar as you, but they're part of one of the seminars that are associated with that theme. And all of the students are housed in close proximity to each other. So it's a great way, like if you have a group project you're working on or a paper or preparing for an exam, your neighbors are nearby to help work on that, on those projects or study for those exams. And it's a great way, I'm kind of going in reverse order here. Oh, to connect with professors and student mentors like Angelica and Bella. We have junior fellows who live on the hall alongside with the RA. So the RA is kind of what you expect, kind of that generalist, taking care of all the health and well-being aspects of living in a residence hall. And then the junior fellow is kind of the specialist in the res college experience. So they're attending our trips, they're helping plan those, they're attending the common hour experience with you. So you'll see them in that kind of class context as well as on the hall. And then the faculty are who teach the class are doing all of that stuff with you. And they act as, if you're, I think it doesn't matter what college you're in, they act as one of your advisors, academic advisors for your fall semester. So you have a chance to kind of get to know a faculty member pretty well right off the bat.
Kelly, can I touch on a little bit more about JFs on the hall?
Yeah.
So I feel like that sounds pretty intimidating, but it's really not. I found being a JF was one of the most rewarding experiences of my Bucknell career. So I don't know how many of you guys toured and got to see a room in McDonald or a room in Smith when you toured. But on those halls, just like you will have your own room, your JF will have their own room, and really they're there for you to do whatever. So academically, we can help you write papers. We can help you kind of go over for disco, a lot of science things, sit down with, do chemistry, calc help. And then also just general as a fun person to hang out with. We would host movie nights, we would bake cookies together, and you have all these fun events that you can just come to and hang out with your JF. And also just if you need somebody like right there, right then, your JF is usually always available. I was sleeping one night and I had a couple residents like bang on my door at I think it was 1 in the morning, and I opened the door and one of them was like, I took 5 aspirin and I don't know what to do. And so we were able to like go and help out. But it's like somebody that you have right there that's always there for you. I'm sure Angelica has some fun stories of, being somebody to do fun things with, do fun events with.
I can't really top the aspirin story, but like I just got like then having somebody there like for literally anything, just doing fun events, because you'll find that like a lot of times the RAs are off doing other RA tasks, but like we're kind of like we don't have those other tasks, so your JF's gonna mostly be on the hall all the time.
It's like the fun aunt, fun uncle dynamic. We like to keep it fun.
Great, thank you. Okay, next. So we talked about these classes and how there could be different seminars under each theme. Each theme offers up to 3, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. Um, and each seminar is capped at 16 students. So your theme could be 20 students, it could be 40 students, depending on how many seminars are being offered. The seminar fulfills that first year seminar requirement. Every student, it doesn't matter what college you're in, management, engineering, arts and science, everybody takes this first year requirement seminar class, and so it counts as that towards your academic requirements, your gen ed requirements. And it's just one of 4 classes you'll take in the fall. So, for example, if you're coming in undeclared arts and sciences, you might take a philosophy class, you might take a language class, maybe you get your lab science out of the way, and then you would have your first year seminar class. If you come in engineering, you're going to be taking calculus, you're going to be taking engineering 100 in physics, and then that 4th class will be this res college class. So that's how it fits into your schedule. And it is an opt-in program, like I mentioned before, and we have about a quarter of the class who take part in the program from year to year. Again, any student can participate. Sometimes we get questions from athletes. Of course, we welcome athletes into the program, engineering majors, management majors. I do have sometimes athletes will say, I'm not sure if I can balance varsity sport with the res college, and I always encourage them to maybe chat with their coach about that and see how that works. But every year we have students that successfully manage that. The program is housed in either 2 halls, either McDonald Hall or Smith Hall, and I'll show you a campus map, kind of laying that out a little bit. And then there are ways to stay involved after your first year. So here's the breakdown. Smith Hall, let's see, can I use my where's the annotate button? Pointer? Is that, yeah. So here's Smith Hall. In Smith Hall, we have the languages and cultures theme, the social justice theme, and society and technology this year. And I like to point out that right next to Smith is Vetter Hall. So we talk about having 2 freshman quads. So this is like the downhill freshman quad with Smith and McDonald right next to each other. And then there are also like halls in Smith that are unaffiliated with the Res College. And then here in McDonald Hall, which is up here by the football stadium, we'll have the arts theme, the discovery theme, global humanities, and nature and innovation. And of course, the other building for first year students is sports, which is right here. So this is like our uphill quad, freshman first year quad, and then the downhill first year quad. It's mainly doubles. We have a few quads. Both buildings are relatively close to the academic center. Right here's our academic quad. The library, the science quad is here, AC East, AC West, and then the management building is here. Gym's here. I don't know, the ELC, this is where you'll take most of your meals, get your mail, that kind of thing is here. Anything I should point out about the map, Angelica or Bella? Yeah. It's a relatively small campus. I hope if you haven't been to campus yet, this could look big. Think if you were all the way over here in a gateway and had to get all the way over to, which is like one of our like our upper class housing, and had to get all the way up to, say, Holmes Hall. What do you think? 15-minute walk, maybe? 20 minutes?
Maximum.
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of scale. There is a hill here, which is why we say uphill and downhill. This Moore Avenue, there's a bit of a hill here. But that's the only interesting I mean, that's okay, I'm gonna stop sharing now and open it up to any questions that people might have. You can feel free to use the chat or just unmute yourself and ask. I don't know, Belle and Angelica, are there any questions that you get from first year incoming students that we haven't touched on yet? I'll say one, workload. I have students ask me a lot, is it more work? I hear it's more work. And what do you two think about that?
I would say it's no more work than any other seminar you would have to take. If anything, you're gaining a lot more than you would from your actual seminar because you get the added bonus of a free trip to a major city. I mean, we're kind of in Bucknell is nice because it's 3 hours away from New York City, 3 hours away from Philly, 3 hours away from Washington, D.C. And that's just a quick day trip that you can do with your college that they'll plan out for you. So that's a free day, free entrance to a museum or a cool exhibit or a cool activity that you get to do. You get to form super close connections with professors. I know for Discovery and SoTech and a lot of these sciencey ones, even with arts ones, you get this really close working relationship with your SFs and your professors that you're working with. And that opens up so many resources into just general academics, but also research. And I know a ton of people that have gotten research experience by being in a res college, by being connected with a professor who is able to either help them get a research opportunity or refer them to somebody and say, oh, this actually sounds like something you'd be interested in. And I mean, that just, you hit the ground running with that. And so maybe it's a little bit more work. You know, you have to take this one Saturday to go to Washington, D.C. Oh my gosh, you have to go on this free trip. But it's a really great experience, but it's no more work than you would have to do for a regular seminar class. You just get, to live with like-minded people and work on fun projects with them.
Yeah, I agree with everything Bella just said. She's actually spot on. I will say, like, when you see your schedules, like, you'll definitely be intimidated because it'll be like an hour and 45-minute block, like, on like some random time throughout the week. That's your common hour, but like, it's not like you have to go as part of the class, but like, you're not going to get homework during then. It's not like an exam period. Like, you're usually doing some kind of like fun activity. Like for languages and cultures, we would go to the movies or we'd go walk the poetry path and then get Sweet Frog downtown, or you're doing something like that. So don't stress about that either.
I forgot to mention Common Hour. You're right. So that it's kind of like if other classes that have like a lab section or a recitation section, this would be um, an equivalent to one of those two things. And as I mentioned, there's like two or three different seminars under each theme. And during this lab or recitation, the students from every one of those foundation seminars comes together to do something broad that is applicable to the theme more broadly. Yeah.
But it's supposed to be fun. It's not
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
be this awful 2 hours that you have to give up every week. I think in disco, it's really close to 1 hour every week that you go. We built marshmallow spaghetti bridges one time and we had them test those. We had them, I don't know, it's just fun stuff that you get to do.
I always hear good things about the illusions one, where you learn about how illusions work. Yeah.
Well, since Brooksbank isn't in Discovery, we don't get to have
Oh,
as
that's
many
right. They
illusions
changed today on
days.
the faculty.
Yeah. But your JFs get to plan them. So it's coming from a student that wants to do student things. And
Yeah.
typically they'll have free food. Not all the time, but it's a good thing to look forward to.
I had a good question about how do you find out which specific res college you're in. I mean, when I sent out the welcome notice, it was very general, just welcome to res colleges. And that's because the registrar is currently still working on individual schedules, and sometimes there's a little bit of change. But the junior fellows have the list, the housing list right now. They're going to be reaching out shortly to welcome you into that particular theme. And I think it's early August, the registrar will release your schedule to you. So you can see all four classes. And that's when you know for sure I'm definitely in, arts college, or I'm definitely in the global college at that point. Final project presentation for the foundation seminars. Yeah, that's a great question. So in res colleges, one of the ways that we do that, I think a lot of classes have some kind of culminating project or exam or something at the end. And for res colleges, we use that as a way to do something we call the symposium, res college symposium. It's the first Saturday in December, and every student in the program as a whole will have an opportunity to present to their peers and then also be an audience member for their peers to kind of learn from each other. So the idea is that we're learning in community and that we're all kind of scholars here, teachers here. And so you have a chance to kind of learn what students are doing in other themes and also kind of share what you've been doing that year. So that's uh, a great question. And what exact res college you're put in, you'll know that by the end of this month, early August, when you receive your class schedule. Let's see, any other questions? What else do we do for symposium? We invite a Bucknell
Oh,
alum.
Kelly, we have the question in the chat.
A residential college is just, yes, the class is just the first semester. It's part of that gen ed requirement. The housing, of course, is for the full year, and we continue to do activities into the spring, different trips, hall programming, that kind of thing. And ways to stay involved after first year. Angelica mentioned we offer a dinner seminar program. It meets once a week. It's a pass-fail class, quarter credit. But you meet with a faculty member over a meal and talk about topics related to the themes, but kind of drawing on what you're learning in other classes. One of our professors calls it kind of like dinner with preparation. So there might be a YouTube video you watch, or maybe there's an article you read, and then everybody comes and talks about it and kind of from their perspective, like what they took away from that material. How am I doing, Angelica? You've actually taken dinner. You've both taken dinner seminars.
No, you're doing good, Kelly. You're like spot on.
Yeah.
Have your topic and you kind of just come in. It's just like a chit chat. It's a very low stakes, like low stress environment. Everyone's kind of run differently. Sometimes, like Kelly said, like you have to prepare a little bit more for one or the other. But then you also have the opportunity to go on trips with your dinner seminar, depending on which one you're on. Plus, it's a free meal that you get to pick once a week. So
Yeah, as a sophomore who doesn't have an all-you-can-eat meal plan, sometimes that's really nice. But so Angelica and I were both JFs our second year, but we still participated in the dinner seminars. We were still able to go. But if you are participating in the dinner seminars similar to a res college, you can still live on the same floor as other people in your dinner seminar. So you still have that contact with people that you have an academic interest with. But these are people that come from all different backgrounds. I remember in my dinner seminar, it was a social justice themed one. I was in disco my first year, but I did social justice as a chemistry political science major. We had engineers, we had people majoring in finance, we had people majoring in creative writing. Just like so many different perspectives coming in, and you just talk over dinner. And it's a really very casual but very meaningful environment that you get to join.
And just from like a maybe theory point of view, the reason why we offer this is because we know that when students have a chance to like test out ideas kind of in a more lower stake idea like environment, that makes it more likely that you'll have like the confidence or experience to then maybe kind of share or participate more fully in a more formal classroom experience. So that's kind of like the theory behind that option. And like Bella mentioned, there is that housing component. And you can sign up for just a dinner seminar. You can sign up just to live in RCAP house. We call it RCAP, Res College Alumni Program. If you have a better name, I'm all ears. We're trying to come up with a better name. Or you can do both. And if you do both, then you get priority over the housing stock. But we recognize that some people might say, hey, I really want to live with folks who are interested in doing things kind of more academically focused. But I really don't have a quarter credit to spare. And so we do have that a housing option available just, for those kinds of situations. But again, not something to worry about now, right? We kind of push all that information out to students, and it's open to anybody. You don't have to have been in a res college your first year to do the dinner seminars and the RCAP housing. It's open to any student, any class year. We have students who participate, sophomore, junior, senior year in that program. So it's just as it fits your schedule, we make it available to you. Cool. Any other questions? I think the key right now, oh, I just was thinking about a question that I get a lot. Um, I can't remember it now. But the key right now is just to focus, to realize like it's a lot of information. It can be overwhelming when you get that housing assignment, when you get your class schedule, when you start looking at the orientation schedule, and to realize that you have folks that you can reach out to ask questions, and to realize that Bucknell's really set this up to be a very welcoming experience and provide a lot of support and make sure that you're very successful in your first year. If you're in rest colleges or not, right, there's a lot of folks here ready to help you kind of navigate this new environment and make it a great year. So make sure to kind of feel empowered to like reach out to those people and ask those questions and fully participate in things like orientation and the different programming that's offered to help you kind of get to know this place and figure out how you want to take advantage of it. Um, cool. Well, if you don't have any other questions, um, I think we'll call it a night. And of course, you have my email in your inbox. So if you do have any questions that come up afterwards, feel free to shoot me to contact me that way. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye. Just hanging out in case people want to talk after. Okay. I'll end it now and we can oh, people are in the waiting room. Hello, welcome. We were just wrapping up here with the Res College information session. But happy to talk with you and answer any questions you might have or anything that you're looking for specifically, Elizabeth or Susan or Anna. I forget who just came in the room. Oh, that's totally fine. Oh, here's another person. Um, well, is there anything in particular? I mean, we're happy to kind of go through kind of the overview again if you would like to hear that. Or if you had any specific questions, we could answer those for you. All right, well, there's 3 of you, 4 of you, new faces. We'll just give you a quick overview, and then if you have any questions based on that, we can answer them. So my name's Kelly Finley. I'm the program director for the residential colleges. I know Angelica and Bella, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Angelica. I'm a rising senior. I'm a mechanical engineering major, and I'm one of the program fellows, so we pretty much help Kelly run the program.
Yes, and I'm Bella. I'm a rising senior majoring in chemistry and political science, and I am also helping Kelly run the program. But I was in Discovery my first year as a student, and I worked in Discovery as a JF my second year. And Angelica?
Yeah, and I was in languages and cultures my first year, and then with a JF for languages and cultures.
Thank you. Okay. So we'll get back to the beginning here. So in a res college, the main idea here is that you'll get a chance to explore a theme both inside and outside of the classroom. You have a chance to connect with faculty and student mentors. The professor who teaches those classes also serves as your advisor. They also help plan and attend the outside of class activities we offer. So it's a great way to get to know faculty member right off the bat. And then we also offer student mentors that work with us, like Angelica and Bella. Their title is Junior Fellow. They live on the hall alongside with an RA. So every hall gets an RA, and they have that kind of generalist responsibility, looking out for the health and safety of the entire hall. Whereas the JFs are more kind of specialists. They know exactly what's going on in the res college. They attend our a common hour and the trips, kind of part of the classroom experience, and help plan that outside of class experience. Students in each theme are kind of housed together in the same area of a residence hall. So if it's time to work on that group project or an exam or something like that, your neighbors are in close proximity to help kind of do that work. We mentioned we go on trips, go to New York City, Washington, D.C., and tie in that experience with things that are happening in the classroom. Each of our themes will offer up to 3 different seminars. Bella mentioned, or Angelica mentioned, that common hour experience. It's kind of like a lab or a recitation in a different class. But what happens in that hour is the students in all 3 of those seminars come together for one common experience that's related to the theme. I don't know, Angelica, Bella, if you want to share some of the things you've done with common hour in the past.
I mean, it's supposed to be a fun time. It's not supposed to be, I think, when Angelica was explaining it earlier, she said it's not supposed to be an exam block because it's not. You're supposed to be doing something fun related to your theme. In Discovery, I know that we've had them make spaghetti marshmallow bridges and we tested them with pennies and see who could hold the most. We did different puzzles and different kind of investigative things like that, looking at different just like ways to look at different things. We took a trip to a fossil gorge and did some geology there. It's really just supposed to be a fun time to kind of work with your classmates on something that's academic but also fun. And it's not graded, it's all fun.
Yeah, and then in languages and cultures, we've done the poetry path downtown and gotten frozen yogurt. We've gone to the International Film Festival on campus. We've done some like study abroad workshops, so just all things like that. And every theme kind of has their own unique things that they do.
Yeah, thanks. And so that seminar, it counts as your first year seminar requirement. So it doesn't matter what college you're in, engineering, arts and science, management. Every student takes a first year seminar, and this Res College class fulfills that requirement. And it's one of the 4 courses you'll be taking in the fall. So if you're like an undeclared arts and science major, you might be taking a language class, you might be taking a political science class, maybe your lab requirement, and then this would be your 4th class. Engineers, you might be taking your EG 100, your engineering 100 class, your physics, chemistry? No, physics, calculus, and then this Res College class would be your 4th. And a question we get a lot, it is an opt-in program, and about a quarter of the incoming class opts in. Any student can participate. I mentioned engineering, management, arts and sciences, but this includes athletes. Sometimes I have students ask me, what's it like to kind of manage a varsity sport and a res college? And of course, we have students that do it every year. And we do our best to kind of provide the support to make sure that you can get the most out of that experience. But I do recommend, if you are a varsity athlete, to maybe chat with your chat with your faculty, coach, chat with your coach. Res colleges are housed in either McDonald Hall or Smith Hall. I have a floor plan, a campus map, and I'll kind of lay that out for you a little bit. And then we do offer ways to stay involved after your first year, but you don't need to worry about that right now. All you've committed to at this point is to take that class in the fall, to kind of live with the students for your first year. We continue the programming into the spring semester. And in the spring, we start kind of telling you ways that you can stay involved, and you would make those decisions at that time. Okay, so here's the campus map. Get my annotation tool out here. So in McDonald Hall, we have the arts, discovery, global humanities, and nature and innovation themes. And that's here next to the football field. And right across from McDonald is Sports Hall. And so this is kind of like if you hear people say the uphill freshman quad or first year quad, these are the two buildings that they're talking about. And then in Smith, we'll have the languages and cultures theme, social justice, and society and technology. So that's right here on 7th Street. And then across is Vetter Hall. And so this is like the downhill first year quad. So that's kind of how it's broken out. And just to kind of orient you a little bit, the ELC, this is where the cafeteria is, where the mailboxes is. Our student space is here as well. So you'll spend some time in the ELC probably every day. Am I right about that? Walk through it at least once a day. Here's our academic quad, the library. The science quad is right here with WorkChem, data engineering, and then our two classroom buildings, Academic East, Academic West, and then Holmes Hall. This is where the College of Management and Art and Art History are housed. And even though this might look really big, like if you were all the way over here in one of the small houses and you're trying to get to Holmes, this might be a 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk tops, if you stop and chat with somebody on the way. So it's really a pretty compact campus. Any other questions about location? Or anything to add, Angelica or Bella? No? Okay. Oh, there's a hill. People talk about the hill right here on Moore Avenue. Forgot about that. But that's, I mean, everybody's going to climb the hill every day. It doesn't matter where you live. Okay, close that. So that's our little spiel. Any questions that you all have? Okay. Oh, I guess the one question that came up, people are asking, when will we find out our specific theme? And the registrar is currently working on finalizing schedules. So before the end of July, like closer to the end of July, early August, your junior fellow will be reaching out to welcome you into the theme. And the registrar will be sending you your final schedule. And once you get that final schedule, that's when it's like for sure, like this is which theme you're in. Very little changes between now and then, but I like to let the registrar have the time they need to make those schedules correctly. There's a cost, we run these themes. Is there any additional cost? That's a question we've gotten. And no, the expenses for those themes that's covered as part of your tuition. So there's no additional cost. Yeah, and if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll call it a night. Thanks for coming.